Welcome to Bonehead Weekly. And I forgot to move the microphone right here.
Hi.
Let's, let's go ahead and move that a little
Let's try
closer.
that again. One more time from the top, this time with feeling.
Hold on,
Hey,
my hair's.
Matt, this time try it again, but try not to suck.
Thank you, fairly brother. Peter, I think that's his famous direction, right? Best direction, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever got? Yeah.
Best direction Matt Damon said he ever got. Do it again, and this time try not to suck.
Look, this is Bonehead Weekly, and we have a surprise guest this week so we have to say thank you to Scarefest, who always, and Lexington Comic Con, but this week's Scarefest, who always give us an opportunity to do these live shows, which we really appreciate. And Scarefest over the last couple of years, and I'll give them a little more credit than LexCon, has done a really good job of trying to get us guests. And this year just wasn't, for multiple reasons behind the scenes of different things going on that I'm not going to talk about here. It's nobody's particularly anybody's fault. Just wasn't panning out, right, gentlemen?
Right.
Yeah. There had been several attempts made, and they had again nobody's fault, but sometimes talent gets last minute bookings, people can't attend, and then that causes a shuffle.
And
Eh,
certain people can't do more than a couple of panels because, and this is truthful, and when they're not on the floor, they're not making money. So I get that. But they've done a really good job. Adrian especially has done a fantastic
Yeah.
about just being good to us and bringing
Adrian's always looking out for us, and we're
always.
always extremely appreciative of her.
So this year she wasn't able to look out for us as much. That's okay. She and I talked the other day for an hour, and I did tell her this story. I'm not going to tell the full story. So about I text you all in the middle of the day and said that we just don't have a guest. We're going to have to please just bring a topic because I'm in panels. I'm doing them from noon till we did the show at 7 o'clock.
from dusk till dawn, if you will,
Yeah.
except reverse because he's done at night.
And then what I was really lucky about and what I really get geeky about, because I just had this, somebody was messaging me earlier who's a handler for celebrities, and they go, I don't get starstruck. And I said, I don't either. What I get starstruck about is usually directors and writers and such. So the last 2 years, Brandon's done a fantastic job of getting a good directors panel together, Brandon and Adrian. And this year was no exception. Fantastic director panel with Tom Holland, the legendary Tom Holland, Fright Night, Child's Play, and then we also had Adam Green, who directed Hatchet, and Greg Nicotero from The Walking Dead, Charles Band from Full Moon, who every time we have somebody on this show, we will interview who has worked with him. We always ask, please tell us about your
And and
favorite
by the
Charlie
way,
Band.
that list of people who have worked with him, as you'll hear, over 400 films.
Which
He,
and every time we have a guest on and they have a Charlie Band story, I'm exceptionally excited to hear it because I am a huge Charlie Band fan. I have been my entire life.
We got to the end of the panel. I knew some stuff about all of them, and we got along. And at the end, Charlie started talking to me, Charlie and Tom. And I said, my friend Chad's right over there. He's a huge fan. If you could just take a second. He goes, what are you all doing? And the quick story version of it is he just went ahead and said, yeah, I'll do the show.
actually, to
That's it.
he was going to lovingly give us 20 minutes, which we were ecstatic for, and then he went above and beyond. He ended up, as you'll hear, talking to us for what 50 minutes.
50 whole minutes.
50 whole minutes. And it only took us threatening him, giving him bourbon, making him drink bourbon. I want to tell you that I saw we said this during the interview or before the interview, I don't remember, that we were told by a friend that he's notorious about not wanting to do interviews, and he said that's not true. And then he kind of turned and goes, "Well, I think what it is that we just knew him and we treated him with respect. We had the
Yeah.
chance to have a conversation beforehand, and we were fun."
Yeah. Funny side note, you'll hear in the interview him get on me about having a phone in my hands. I was so and I did get a little starstruck. I admit, I'm like Joe, I've stopped getting starstruck around people, but I do get starstruck sometimes. I was just so shocked. I was sitting next to Charlie Band that every bit of information I had about Charlie Band and Full Moon Entertainment left my mind. So I was leaning towards James and going, look this up, look this up, look this up to make sure I was right. And I grabbed his phone and was looking at it, and Charlie Band caught me and then got on me about looking at a phone.
I actually forgot about that because
Yeah.
While
So
I was force feeding Charles Band liquor, I did the same to myself.
I was doing remembering research because I could not remember stuff out of my head. I couldn't believe I forgot. I'm forgetting it now. Andrew Divoff,
Yeah, Andrew Duvall.
Wishmaster's.
Hmm.
I forgot Wishmaster. I forgot Andrew Divoff's name and only referred to him as Wishmaster because that's where my brain went. My brain just left me.
A couple of things before we get started. I want to make sure that everybody knows that he did do, and we weren't able to get this show out in time, but he did do Charles Band's Church of Chills. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. He's bought a church there. He also owns a house. He shoots a lot of his movies there now. Check it out. Andrew Divoff was there. Go to the website. It's still up. I'm sure it's going to be a yearly thing. He'll probably start doing them often. If you want to buy some merchandise and you're a huge Full Moon fan, Full Moon takes such good care of, and I watched him do it with his fans. They take such good care of their fans. There's so many toys, whether that be, I was just about to, I lost my mind now, Chad. Whether
Puppet
that be
Masters,
Puppet Masters, whether that be Ginger Dead
Ginger Dead
Man,
Man.
subspecies, all those things. You can go to Full Moon's website, Full Moon Horror, Full Moon Entertainment. Check it out. I also want to give another plug, and he told us about something we can't talk about, and I'm not going to. But I want to give a plug to he does a great interview show, and it's Full Moon. It's on Amazon. It's also on Tubi. Check those out. There's a couple. He really likes one with Rob Zombie. I like one couple with John Carpenter, and then there's one with Elvira Cassandra Peterson. There's just tons of them on there. He's a really good interviewer. He's got tons of stories. You're going to listen to him. We kind of talked about the business side of this. The man in his childhood. Also, check out his book, which is something that we're going to do and read and review. So, check out his book. Anything else you all want to say before the interview starts?
No,
If you're not familiar with any of his films, and you are, you probably just don't realize you are. Some of the ones like I picked up, Joe mentioned you can go buy stuff from his website. Some of the films we talk about, one that we didn't talk about that I actually picked up at Scarefest because I own a lot of Edgar Allan Poe films and books and stuff like that, multiple editions of some that. So I picked up The Pit and the Pendulum, which has Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a
Directed by
ton
Stuart
of
Gordon.
Stuart Gordon, and so there's a ton. The archive, so to speak, the back catalog of Full Moon has plenty for you to find. No matter what you like about horror, or if you like action films, you'll hear Robot Jocks come up during this interview. Uh, there's so many different ones to look at. So when Joe says check out his catalog, check out his catalog. You'll
Check it
find
out.
some
It's
things you truly love there, or you'll discover some things that you'll grow to love.
Full Moon Entertainment, Full Moon Horror. There's a new movie called Death Streamer. Check it out. We're going to also watch it. We just appreciate his time. That's the most valuable gift you can give anybody is their time, is your time. And he was just magnanimous about it and it was wonderful to us. And he left a little earlier Sunday and I did not get a chance to thank him again.
We
And
missed him by literally a minute.
well, you missed him by a minute,
I
actually.
know. Me and James' team by a minute.
This is our interview with Charlie Band live. You're going to love it at Scarefest. Thank you so much for Scarefest. Thank you so much for the gabillion people that showed up for Scarefest this year, for all the pictures and selfies we took. I thank you. Feel free to tag me in them. I love seeing you all. I love it when you come up. Here it is, Charlie Band. Go ahead.
This is an audio show.
It's an
Yes.
audio show.
Yeah.
Well, usually we do video, but we actually didn't think we were going to have a guest, so we're going to do audio right now.
Cool.
I want to welcome and thank you all for coming and showing up for this. And we did not know that Mr. Band was going to be here. Thank you, Charlie Band, to welcome to Bonehead Weekly.
Okay.
And I do got to tell a story. As soon as this is over and I head home, I am calling my brothers and telling them to go fuck themselves because I got to talk to Charlie Band.
Okay, let me how close do I need to be to this mic?
Just
like
pretend it's a peanut. Don't spit on it first. But yeah.
And I'm sure that's not the first time you've said that.
That's not the first time
No,
I've
you've done this for
demonstrated.
9 years, so that the penis mic thing has come up.
So I usually have to be PG-13. You want to hear my joke about
Why?
PG-13?
Why? Yeah.
Well, because we're family friendly and I always say PG-13. So that means 80s PG-13. That means I get one set of tits and 2 fucks.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But it's close.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, especially if I do a lot of Comic Cons, so you kind of
Okay.
have to do. It's not the same crowd.
This whole
at
rating
Comic-Con.
thing, you know, we used to struggle with it. Am I close enough for this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you're fine.
Because
Yeah, you're
I'm
fine.
too close and I'm thinking about the penis and I'm not going to do it.
Listen, I'm straight. I'm straight, and I'm still just mouthing it.
So there's got to be some new rule because I was watching, and I know people love this movie. What is it called? The Deadpool versus Wolverine or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm 10 minutes into it. There's 600 fucks. People being stabbed in the dick. There's blood. I thought, what the fuck am I watching? I walked out. I couldn't. It's like, I wanted the popcorn movie. I thought, this is going to be great. And I'm there with my now wife, Robin, and we're eating. And then it's like, what the fuck? Even the main titles, it's like, oh God. But what happened to the fucks? Because there was a limit of fucks.
There what used to be a
Now
limit
there's
of
600 fucks in the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Do you think it was Scorsese? Is it The Wolf of Wall Street that had the record up until then? Am I wrong about that? Do you know? I mean, there's just tons of fucks in that movie.
Yeah, but The Wolf of Wall Street's a fucking good movie.
Well, it is a fucking good movie. Are you shitting on Deadpool?
Yeah.
I'm joking. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah.
I have a 7-year-old and he wants to see it, and I oddly enough, you think I'm a bad dad? I'm just not that bad of a dad.
No, I don't know, 7 years old. Who knows? Today is different.
It is different, yeah. I've introduced him to other things, and he's okay that his friends at school think he's a freak. So pretty much, there you go.
So what's your show all about?
It's honestly about, this show is about movies. I mean, it's all about our love of movies.
But your show for 9 years is about movies?
Well, we've been doing this for 6 years. I've been doing the cons for 9 years. And and the problem is, I was doing a YouTube thing. We had YouTubers up here, and they're like, oh, we only do horror, and we only do horror. And I would get really bored if we only talked horror films. Because when they were asking me who would I love to interview that's dead, I remember Orson Welles. And was anybody here for that, for Orson Welles? And I don't mean it about, and I was shocked that several people knew who that was because...
How can you not know who Orson Welles is?
Yeah.
Who does know Orson Welles?
All right, go on.
Yeah? Who does not? It's okay, I'm not going to judge you. It's okay. I can see your face.
Wesley, you should
don't
be
have
ashamed.
a fucking clue.
No,
the
looking behind
kid.
the side of you.
He called you a bad name as a father. You're a great father. And you brought your kid, and very smart dude. Very smart.
There you go. Well, he's also a friend. He's got a great comic book.
Okay.
Show her Pinky in the brain.
Yeah, there we go. So we've been doing it. So we have a lot of. So you've worked with a couple of people that we've actually interviewed, and we always ask because we never thought we would get you on the show.
Yeah, we always ask for Charlie Band stories.
Courtney Joyner. I'm trying to think of who else you've worked with that we've had on the show that we've talked about. You worked with Jeff Burr, right?
I did.
The late great Jeff Burr.
He did Puppet Master 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, give us credit for pulling Jeff Burr out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've always asked them for the great best Charlie Band stories because there are several out there. You can be notorious from time to time.
That's okay.
No, I know. I love watching your interviews. You are
The
like
Freak Show?
I love watching Freak Show, but you are like John Waters in the sense of, as much as I like your movies, I like you more.
Yeah.
Does that make, as a personality, I love watching you talk.
Okay. I'm still thinking about the Mike Dick thing. And that's,
This will make you feel
no,
better.
no. I'm drinking this one. This one. Here.
Is that the expensive one?
They taste relatively.
We have got to get you a bourbon class.
It's also too, from your conversation in the panel before about the video stores, because when you gave that about we wouldn't know these movies if we didn't have video stores. It was absolutely true because where I grew up, we didn't have access to Fangoria magazine or any of those. I just didn't have access to those. What I had access to was going to the video store and getting that month's video magazine.
Right, sure.
And I would literally just grab the video magazine and I would circle the month, the day of the month when all the full moon movies came out. And I was like, oh, here's Puppet Master. Here's Shrunken Heads. Here's the head of the family. And that would be the weekend where I'd because there was 3 of us growing up, and they usually got to pick the movies. I'm like, nope, it's my weekend.
Can you tell he has middle child syndrome?
So were you aware of the Video Zone at the end, the video magazine?
Yes, I watched it. I watched it all the time. Yeah. I would always fast forward through the credits and watch it.
Oh, that's great.
Do you get a sense of how much you have changed now? 3 generations of people coming through, and just how important your work has been to those folks. I'm serious. I'm not not trying to blow smoke up your ass, especially those end of those. So for people, for example, I'm from southeastern Kentucky, which is really rural. They would call it a holler. You probably don't know what that is, but I'll get you drunk and tell you later.
Okay.
And you didn't have access. So back to what you were talking about, you had to find. So these little snippets gave us a preview into the world that we loved and worshipped, and gave us a whole sense of, oh, you can do this.
Right.
You can make it happen. Can you talk a little bit about the people who come up and tell you that?
Yeah, yes, it's sort of.
Come on in. We want you to come on in. This is. We're going to have some audience questions in a second.
Yeah, all pretty girls are welcome here.
I'm glad he said it because I always sound sexist when I say it, but
I don't care.
I don't give a shit either.
So what was the question again?
I love you. Get closer to
No.
No,
Okay.
the question was you're now at 3. Wouldn't you say it's close to 3 generations?
No, that's true. I've been around, and the medium changes, and you try to change with it.
And you have adapted.
Yes, I have adapted. I'm kind of like an alien thing, but no. At the end, it's still you need to entertain people. It's got to be clever and different, and I've never followed a trend. I've never made a slasher movie, when it would have been easy to make a buck doing things that everyone else was doing. I kind of made weird movies like Head of the Family and Hideous, and just to keep doing something that I enjoyed. I always made movies that I enjoyed. I just finished my 402nd movie, which sounds fucking weird, and I'm really proud of it. It's called Death Streamer, and it's just coming out on streaming and physical in the next week or something, and I in that movie, just as an example, I turned what's sort of a tired old vampire theme into something pretty current and clever. So the pitch is super decadent vampire. And by the way, there's such talent out there. I've never been exposed to more new, obviously not some name you're dragging up from the past. Look who's in this movie. I won't insult anyone by throwing out a beat.
The fuck out of them. All 22 of our listeners will be listening.
But there's amazing young talent. A lot of them don't get the break, and they're doing theater, and we pull people from Chicago and New York. Anyway, this fellow who plays the lead vampire is absolutely fantastic, and this is, I think, the best vampire type movie I've made since the Subspecies series. All right. So anyway, we have this decadent vampire who lives in this mansion and has these parties, and he not only kills his victims, he live streams their death. And he has these crazy glasses, which the inspiration for this movie was, I kind of follow all this technical stuff, and last year Meta did a co-venture with Ray-Ban. You can buy these things. They're $350. I know it's a little pricey. They look like sunglasses. You push a button, you can live stream until the battery dies through Facebook, or you can record 1 minute in 4K of material. So I thought, fuck, there's a movie in this thing. So this vampire live streams to a bunch of decadent people. I won't tell you the whole story, but it really turned out super well. And that's number 402.
And you have a wall in your office with all of them there. Yes, you do. And one of these days I'm going to make it out there, and now I'm going to email you and go, hey.
Well, that's easy.
Remember the microphone.
Yes, I will. No, I'm a collector from day one, so I started numbering my movies. So if you wait till the end titles, you'll see this sort of full moon stamp, and it's number 12, 27.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
You just look at the end of pretty much every movie. I started that maybe 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So as we redo or upgrade movies to Blu-ray or whatever, we add the stamp. But all the last 100, 200 movies have the stamp.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I don't know how we're talking about that.
No, absolutely. I think it's fascinating. I do want to ask you a question before we start talking about what you're doing now, and I want to let Chad, because Chad, not that I don't love you, but Chad has such a deep love for you. I want to ask, you were so smart holding on to the rights of your movies.
It's true.
Quick. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Well, first of all, I did write it.
Side of it.
HarperCollins came to me and they got wind of my weird life. This is before COVID. And I wrote a book with a biographer that I'm very proud of called Curse of the... No. What the fuck was it called? That's my new one. Get this stuff away from me.
No, goddamn it.
Okay, it's called Confessions of a Puppet Master. Anyway, it's got a lot of stories because my career and my life has been amazing ups and really fucked up downs. Like no money. I spent a weekend in the Slammer. I mean, there's a lot of stories, okay, because things happen in life. And luckily,
Well, I haven't been to the weekend in the Slammer, and I'm 46 years old.
well, that's your problem, pal. Anyway,
Love you.
So what was the question? I'm getting this bourbon stuff is definitely
It goes right to your head.
Not
Let's
really.
finish that one off.
I will.
What I want to ask is, because it's a serious question, because one of the other things I appreciate about you is that people, they make movies, but they never think about the actual goddamn business of the part.
Well, you have to stay alive.
I know, but do you understand what I'm talking about?
But
They don't
wait,
think
what
about
was? Hey,
distribution.
dude, what are you on your phone? Take that phone away from him.
Well,
He's on his phone.
Well, he's basically looking up something.
No, he's not.
I was making notes.
Yeah, I saw like a naked chick on your phone right now.
That was from one of your movies.
That wasn't a naked chick. That was a huge penis.
Wait. So what
Two
was the
things can be
refresh? There was
The
a
question was
yeah.
about the business part, because this is one of the things, and I truly am not blowing smoke up your ass. This is the reason why I love your interviews, because you actually explain the business part of the
Oh, the
industry.
business.
And you have held on to all.
Oh, the library. Okay.
of
Thank
your-
God. Okay, good for you. Well, good for you. You can keep drinking.
I can keep drinking. Bless you.
So when things got tough, as they have a few times for me, I mean, really difficult, sold everything I had, and there were moments I had a huge collection of all sorts of cool stuff. And
the castle.
The castle, yeah, I owned a castle for 30 years.
Stewart.
Sell all the shit. But the only thing that I held on to was the library, were my movies, because I've kept, with the exception of about 30 movies that went to MGM and a few that went to Universal, I've kept every movie, the rights to every movie I've ever made. So when video died, which it did, a dismal death, when Blockbuster closed, it's not like, some businesses you can say, well, it's down 30%, down 20%. This is dead. This is like no one went to the video store anymore. Streaming took over the world, which is really amazing when you think of other businesses that, maybe change over the years, but this one died. Okay, no video stores. My video store down from me is now a laundromat. So that's what happened to the video business. But I refused. I said, no matter what, I cannot sell the library. And I had offers. Hey, we'll buy the Puppet Master movies for X. And then there was money that would have been very useful. So I kept that. Then I did this roadshow tour. Yeah, come in.
Yeah, come on in, motherfuckers.
Jesus. Now I get this show. Okay. I get it. So I held on to that, and it was a really rough period. And then, this is a long, stupid story.
No,
but
it's
nah,
fascinating.
but we don't have that much time. So at the end of the day, I heard about Netflix. I understood what it was. I used to get DVDs and Blu-rays in the mail from Netflix. That's what Netflix was, if you guys remember
Right.
that.
Yes, absolutely.
And suddenly they got this streaming thing, and I understood what it was. I thought, great, I got to do this full moon streaming. So I did the streaming thing. It was very difficult. We were like the third on earth doing streaming. And what's all this noise? Tell them to shut up next door. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
Actually, can we have somebody close the door over
well,
there?
that'll probably be helpful.
Yeah,
that's
let's
good.
have that. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. She should be nice. I got her tickets for this weekend.
Okay. So anyway, I understood what it was. Back then, they didn't have any. What they have today, you can become a streaming company overnight. Now you won't make any money because that business sucks, and there's billions of dollars, and everyone's fucked. That's another story. But I thought, okay, let me do it. I'll go to conventions. I'll try to explain to people how you sign up. They'll be able to watch full moon streaming. I'm putting you to sleep. I can tell. You had a big yawn.
It's just been a long day.
It's been a long day.
He's actually he's a big fan. He
No,
comes
cool.
here
No,
every
I
week.
just was looking at you, and I thought, I hope it's not boring.
I'm actually very enthralled.
Okay. Well, we'll see when you fall over. And we'll see. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So anyway, I did the streaming thing. It was super hard work. We went to shows, and this is back when no one understood what streaming was. So I had to talk to people like you and say, we have this channel. Okay, it's got about 200 movies. Cool. Here's how you do it. You give me your credit card. What? The first thing was like, and then how does that work? I said, well, every month we're going to bill you $6.99. Anyway, it was incredibly difficult to convince people to do the streaming thing, even though Netflix was coming alive. They were the first. And then one day, out of the blue, I'm kind of getting to the money thing, kind
No,
of.
you're
One day out of the blue, I get a call from someone from Amazon saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. We're starting this division. It's called Add-on Subscription. If you're a Prime member, we're going to people who have already libraries. In your case, we love your full moon streaming. This guy was a fan, right? I mean, we had 800 subscribers, which is like death. We couldn't pay cappuccino budget for the month for 800 subscribers. Not true, but very little money. I said, that sounds great. And I said, well, what do we do? He said, well, we'll make a deal, and then you got to deliver. By then we had 400 movies up. You have to deliver the movies. Now, delivering movies is always a chore. It's the negative, the thing, and the metadata, and the thing, and the artwork. So each one takes a bunch of time, and we had 400 to deliver. But I delivered real fast because I figured, well, if Amazon's getting into the streaming business, then that could be good because we were starving, no money, video stores dead, selling shit, right? And so we did the deal with Amazon. It took 3 months for us to deliver and get all the movies up. And that was, I remember it was the end of the year, and like all wonderful big companies that they don't steal your money, but they have all the tricks. They account to you 60 days after the quarter. So if we had made money in January of the year, we wouldn't get the money till May. I thought, all right, that's not great, but hopefully it'll be.
Yeah.
No dialogue. They didn't give any predictions. Said, well, what do you think? By now, I had 900 subscribers on my little Full Moon Streaming, homegrown streaming site. They said, we can't tell you, but deliver and it'll go well. They had 40 different young companies that were part of this add-on subscription deal. We were the only horror company. Eventually, there were others. Anyway, bottom line is we're delivering, we're on Amazon, Full Moon Features, looks cool. And we're now in May when I'm waiting for this frickin' statement, to come through to know. I figured, well, if we have by then 1,000 subscribers on our little, app, maybe they'll have 2,000 subscribers. And by now, other companies were coming along. Netflix was growing. This is like 9 years ago or something. So I got the statement. I'm sitting with my now wife, Robin, and we're looking at on my phone this big, and the statement has a million little numbers. I'm trying to just see what money is coming to me. What's the bottom line? How much money? How many subscribers? Anyway, it was 12,000 subscribers, and the check was like a fatty. It was going to be a good payment.
What do you mean fatty?
In a monetary way, a fatty.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. So the point is that turned my life around. Now we had Amazon behind us. And I kept making it. It kind of brought the business back. But for some years, there was no money. There were no video stores. There was nothing. And this is the same story I could tell going back to the 70s when the only money came in was from theatrical tickets, from rental. When I was the B-side of a double bill on movies that went to drive-ins and movie theaters. That was the only revenue source. You want to know about money? I can give you an hour on money. But you have to
love it.
But you have to be on top of it and stay ahead. Otherwise, it's over. You don't know what to do. You're kind of out of luck. So yeah, it's been a lot of permutations of. But they're the same movie. I'm making the same movie I made 50 years ago. Fun little entertainments. They don't pretend to be anything else.
I want to ask the next question, but I'm sure Chad's got one. So
Go, Chad.
I just have so many because
I know you do. I have so many too.
because I mean, and I'm going to talk about the movies because
and we also want to make sure
because-
that if you have any questions, we'll get out to you.
because I know you talk about. I know you get a lot of questions about Puppet Masters, which I absolutely love. I have all the action figures. I have.
Chad, get closer to that microphone.
Oh, sorry. I have all the Puppet Master action figures. I'm huge. Pinhead's my favorite.
Well, I'm sure you hear that a lot.
I head of the family. I love that. But there's one me and James particularly love since our childhood, and there's two actually. But I gotta talk to you about one that you wrote. I want to hear about Oblivion. I want to talk to you about Oblivion, the Alien Western,
sure.
because I absolutely, me and him, it has a special place.
Long before Cowboys versus
Aliens.
Yeah, they
And
ripped. They
Peter
ripped.
David on the
They
show,
literally
too.
ripped
They
our campaign.
They
up,
completely did,
Ripped.
and in my opinion, Oblivion is far superior than Cowboys and
And
Aliens.
we had Peter David on the show really quick for
Oh,
you.
cool.
Oh, dude. He went further than we could go. We were like 3.5 hours. I was like, God, I gotta go pee. You were awesome, Peter. And if you don't know who Peter David is, Google him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he directed movies for me, including
Yeah.
transfer movies. I had a studio in Romania. I mean, we could spend 100 hours on this stuff. So
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know where to go, but
Go wherever you
Transfers.
like.
yeah,
Tall
Oblivion.
Man.
Oblivion. Tall man.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were ripped off by Cowboys versus Aliens.
Yeah, but whatever.
You say
Hey,
whatever, but
I'll
those
give you.
sons of bitches.
I'll give you the best sort of rip-off-ish story. So
Please.
it's the 80s. I made a movie called Troll. Has anyone
Right.
seen Troll?
Oh, we've seen Troll.
Oh,
All right. So anyway, Troll was an interesting movie, kind of sci-fi fantasy. It was about this kid who was kind of pushed around, and he went into this fantasy world in his apartment, and people changed, and then there was an evil witch, and then he was in a forest. And anyway, if that doesn't sound familiar, his name was Harry Potter. That's the name of my character. And there were themes in Troll that were similar. And Troll had a lot of interesting casts. We had the kid who was Noah Hathaway, who was in Neverending Story. Anybody saw that? Sonny Bono was in there, poor guy, before he slammed into a tree on skis. June Lockhart was in there. It was Julie Louis-Dreyfus's first movie.
Yeah.
So it was quite a...
Almost nude.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true.
You couldn't have
there
paid
you
a few
go.
$100 more for that?
You know, at the end of the day, it's ultimately about that too.
Yes.
I mean, that's an ingredient that I refuse to stop putting in my movies: hot chicks and some boobies. I mean, come on, it's a rites of passage. If you don't see those as a young boy, you're fucked up.
I think everyone loves breasts. I think if you're a young lady, young boy, am I wrong? Can we, straight, gay, it doesn't matter. Who does not like breasts?
Okay,
There we go.
I've uncorked something weird, but anyway.
Oh no, this is me on my best behavior.
Kind of yay breast. Anyway, so yeah, that was Troll. But the point of all this was what?
We were talking about Oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah, so Oblivion. So there was a time when things were awesome, early days in the '90s, and I was making these movies. Paramount was my distributor. We were making lots of money, and I had owned in the '80s the Dino De Laurentiis studios that were outside of Rome. This was a 100-acre facility. When Dino, before he got into trouble, Dino, one of the great, producers. He made movies there like The Bible and Barbarella, and anyway, things things got messed up for him, and we were there. I was there. I found out about the studio, and I shot a movie there. It was a great experience, and somehow I'm sitting with Dino De Laurentiis, who was a true mogul, one of the few, and because we were involved with the same bank, it's a long, stupid story. I managed at, I don't know, I was 30 maybe, to buy this $20 million studio, and that was a bargain price. But I didn't buy it with my money. It was the bank. It was all sorts of shenanigans. This was back in the day. So now suddenly I own this 100-acre facility, 5 sound stages, and I got to make movies there. This was the kind of early days of Empire.
Yeah.
So I made Trill there. I made From Beyond with Stuart Gordon. I made Dolls. I made Crawl Space, Klaus Kinski. We had this fantastic run. And then that ended because, like everything in low-budget filmmaking, especially if you're not, someone is not financing you, when things go wrong and money dries up, then you're suddenly out of business. And then you go back to LA and you make, a couple sexy movies because they make money.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did all that. And then the opportunity came up again in the early 90s where we were making movies. We were distributed by Paramount. Puppet Master was a big hit, and Subspecies and all those movies. And we needed a similar setup in Europe so we can make gothic, cool films, not just movies shot in the streets of LA. So I got wind that Romania was an amazing place to go, and this was literally after they had revolution. Okay, this is when, it's hard to describe it. I'm trying to think of an analogy you guys would. Imagine if in a year from now, Ukraine, there's no more war. And some bizarre American goes there, I want to make movies in Ukraine, There's mortar holes and shit's blowing up. But that's kind of what Romania was back in 91. So I went there. The center was beautiful. It used to be known as a Little Paris. It was all fucked up because of communism, but it was a new day and new politics. And the husband and wife team that were the bad guys, they were shot and killed, and now we're in new days and entrepreneurial spirit. And I thought, I got to make a movie here. So I made Subspecies.
Right.
And it was a great experience. The director, Ted, and I go back a million years. He made movies like TerraVision with me and others, Bad Channels. So I go, Ted, it looks like we can have the entire city of Bucharest for basically no money. If you want a cathedral for your movie, if you want to shut down Main Street, it's $20. It was like nothing. They were very anxious to have Americans and money and all the rest of it. So we shot Subspecies. And I'm getting to Oblivion, by the way.
That's
I know it's the longest way to get
This
to
is the
Jesus,
most-
I am enthralled. Are you guys enthralled? This is amazing. Give him a round of applause.
Oh, stop.
Because you're doing fantastic.
I am absolutely captivated.
We were captivated.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, good. So,
We love you.
so anyway, shot Subspecies. I thought, okay, this is an amazing place. It reminded me of Italy, but very primitive in a way. And I became friendly with the DP, who was Romanian, and his wife, who was awesome. She was the costumer. And I said, we got to build a studio here. Everything's super cheap, and I want to make 100 movies in Romania. Presto bingo, within a matter of 6 months, we found a place that was sort of the land that made sense outside of Bucharest. So it was, 25 minutes from the center. That's a separate story, but a good one. And basically, I started to build almost like what the Dino De Laurentiis Studios was. It was 100 acres, 50 hectares. We started with one soundstage. I thought, okay, the first thing I got to do is build an old Western town. Not that I'm into Westerns because I grew up with my dad on Western sets, but I wanted to make a sci-fi Western. So we built this Western set with all this sci-fi stuff. This is like not CGI or something. This is like a freaking town. We built a town, and it was very affordable. And then I thought, okay, I got to make a movie, and I had this idea to make a movie called Oblivion. And has anyone seen it? Because it's not a very well-known movie. You've seen it, one gal?
Yeah.
What about the pretty girls who walked in? Did you see Oblivion? Have you seen any of these movies?
Are you
Nothing.
having a good time?
Wait, stop.
Do you
stop.
want a drink?
No, you can't talk to these girls. I'm going to talk to them. So
I just got caught blocked by Charles Band.
You did. What brought you into this room? I'm just curious.
We waved.
Did you hear that, motherfucker?
But you're into horror movies, right? You're here at a convention or not even?
Yeah.
Okay. Like 2 favorite horror movies. Just call out 2 movies.
13 Ghosts.
Okay.
That obviously we're here for Matthew as well. Scream.
Okay.
Love, like Tales from the Crypt. We do love that a lot.
All right, good. Very cool.
You seen Wishmaster?
No.
Oh,
I know, we're on Colton's one.
No, we don't think you're on Culture Swine. You're lovely because you're here with
I was
us.
gonna say for those who haven't seen Oblivion, Wishmaster is the main villain in Oblivion.
correct. Yeah, Andrew Divoff, who,
Yes.
by the way, I shouldn't forget to promote something I'm doing. So, a week from today,
Yes.
is anybody from Cleveland here? Probably not. No. But everyone drives around. All right, so a week from today, in the last movie I shot, the vampire movie I told you guys about, I wound up renting for the movie this incredible, haunted, fucked up church, okay? And fucked up in the sense that they've been trying to sell it for 5 years. There are a lot of churches in Cleveland that need a new home or a new purpose. And this was the coolest one ever. It's all stone. It was a 130-year-old church. It was creepy and haunted. And we shot our movie there. And then I found out at the end of the movie, when I finished the movie, from the owner, was this really sweet lady. She goes, I love what you've done here, and I love the horror movie thing, and maybe this could be a good place for you to make other movies. I'll make you a deal. And she offered the church to me at like half of what it was listed for, which was already like nothing. And I bought a church for no fucking good reason at all. And of course, my now wife Robin goes, and she's an entrepreneur too, entrepreneur. Right. She goes, what do you do with the fucking church? I go, give me a moment. So the first thing I had to do was fix the roof, not me, because I can't do that. But I knew people there because of some real estate stuff. And that took about 2 months because when I first walked in there, it was raining in the church because the roof was totally fucked up. So we had to put tarps and stuff up there to shoot our movie. Anyway, long story short, there's 50 tributaries of stories. Movie's done, very cool movie. Half of it was shot in the church called Death Streamer. And I thought, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to do like a little weird horror convention kind of fucking crazy shit on stage. And we're going to do bizarre, haunted, weird stuff. I'm going to turn the church into almost like a haunted ride with movies and people. And that's what we're doing. So a week from today, if you're in Cleveland, you go to the church and check it out. It's a little pricey because it's not cheap to get into a haunted church, all right? If not, you can go on stream, online, and we went to a company called Moment. Moment is affiliated with Patreon. It's really cool. They live stream concerts, mainly concerts. So if you can't go see whoever you love, pretty much you can go to Moment and watch the concert in real time online. And what's also cool is you can, as a promoter, you can put on merch if you want to sell merch. They have a tip jar, which seems ridiculous. So it's and it's very interactive. So I thought, okay, we'll live stream it across the planet. Whoever wants to show up, they can show up to the church. And amongst all the guests we have some surprise guests that will blow your mind, but I can't tell you what they are.
Nobody here is
Andrew Divoff, apropos Oblivion. Dana De Lorenzo is a friend. There's a bunch of people showing up, and the whole cast for Death Streamer, the movie that I made with the live streaming death caused by vampires. So that's kind of a cool thing. So whoever's listening should go to, I guess, moment.co, because most people aren't going to drive to Cleveland.
Well, it's not too far from here, and Cleveland actually is a fun town.
It is.
Yeah.
People don't know this. So I've been there for 3 years. We've made about 14 movies there.
You've been shooting there for a while.
I have.
Right?
So here's what I didn't know about Cleveland. One, it was the richest city in America 100 years ago. No one go, what, Cleveland? Yes, that's where all the moguls were. There's a neighborhood there. It's like the Beverly Hills of Cleveland called Cleveland Heights. And there's 4 to 20,000 square foot mansions, just unbelievable homes that generally are still in people's families. They're beautiful, and yeah, Cleveland's cool. Plus Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, there's other stuff there as well. But it's a great place to shoot because in L.A., the people in L.A. are so jaded with movie people, they hate them. You know, if you rent a little house on the street, every neighbor wants $50, $100 an hour. They're just, boo, fuck you, movie people. Because people have been using the L.A. locations, you know, for 120 years, and it's jaded. No one wants movie people. Cleveland, it's like, we will bake you cupcakes. Come in, this beautiful house. We had a situation where we needed a creepy big house to kind of double as a mortuary. And this house was incredible. And a friend of mine who was helping me at the time, I said, you can offer as much as $500. It's just, we just need it for a day. In LA, that would be $10,000. So the person answered the door. It turned out they knew the Puppet Master movies. It always helps. They go, yeah, my son loves those movies. And you want to shoot here? Oh my God, that's incredible. And of course it was free. You know, and they were just so happy to have a movie company destroy their house. You know,
Your favorite F word, right?
Yes, true. So anyway, yeah, Oblivion. I don't know how we got off on Oblivion. Andrew Devoff, so he's going to be at the show. But Oblivion was a very cool sci-fi. What would you call it? Sci-fi horror.
Sci-fi western. Yeah.
Sci-fi western. And then we shot a sequel at the same time.
Yep.
And we had nothing but people. I mean, we had all the people in it, all the stars. We had a bunch of fun, strange.
Takei.
George Takei.
Julie Newmar, yeah.
Julie Newmar. And we had funny. It was a wonderful writer too. He did
Peter David.
Did a great job.
He's an interesting cat. So I know
We had George Takei walking down the main street,
Yeah.
drunk because that was his character.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And he was drinking the obvious booze. He would, beat me up, Scotty. You know, he had crazy weird lines that were all movie sort of things anyway.
So who has a question? I don't mean to take it away from Chad and James and me, but I do want to make. I see you, and then you. Yes, sir. Go.
I don't know if you've already discussed this yet, but do you have any stories in regards to the production of Castle Creek or in regards to Stuart Gordon?
Yeah, Stuart Gordon.
Like,
Castle
I
Freak.
could 10 hours. I could do 10 hours because Stuart and I go back to Reanimator.
I mean, you guys were close.
Very close. It's such a tragedy that he left us so early. It sucks. So anyway,
Yes.
But no, we made Castle Freak and From Beyond, and then Dolls, and then Robot Jocks, and Pit and the Pendulum. There's a bunch of movies.
James is in there clapping. For
James,
Robot Jocks.
I haven't heard from you all night.
Well, I was going to say Robot Jocks is the one I wanted to at least mention in passing because me and you talk about the business side of it, and I know that's what you have to do, but I do want to say my brother and I never have agreed on anything throughout our entire life. We don't really talk a lot now, but oddly enough, when we were kids, and Robot Jocks, you talk about that being on the shelf, both of us at a young age, we saw that VHS box. We're like, oh, that's going home. We're going to watch that tonight. And it's one of the movies that to this day I can still see him at the holidays and be like, Robot Jocks. And he's like, yeah,
thank
Robot
you.
Jocks.
And I
So,
mean, you were one of the first movies to make. You were one of the first guys to make a movie about mechs. About the
First movie.
Yeah, I mean, really.
So, I mean, I'll give you 1 minute on Robot Jocks. So this was our most expensive movie with Stewart, and I'm a big fan of stop motion. I've added stop motion in my movies going back to the 70s with Laser Blast, with the aliens, and Dolls, and Puppet Master. They all have a bunch of stop motion. And Stewart wanted to make this film, which was, for us, a big budget movie. You know, giant robots with pilots and the whole thing. And we did it. I think we did a great job. It was a big budget movie for us. And it was the first. It was the first movie. And it's organically cool. You know, I'm not a CGI fan. It looks like a cartoon. Some CGI looks pretty good, but most of it to me is like, I know the actors are fighting like a blight or a green screen, or it's all, you know, it's not, they're not involved really in those scenes, as good as some of them are. And Robot Jocks had none of that. There was not a trick shot. There was forced perspective, which is cool, stop motion animation, but everything was built. And then every movie that dealt with those giant robots afterwards was all cartoons.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And I like Guillermo. I like a lot of his stuff, and he made whatever the fuck it was, the big
Pacific
cartoon.
Rim.
Pacific
Rim.
Was that the one with the big robot
Yeah.
But
guys?
oddly enough, one of the movies that he made it's not Crimson Peak. It's the other one that takes place in Cleveland at the turn of the century
Yeah.
because it was also that's actually where I learned that Cleveland was such an important city
Yeah,
at that time.
it
actually.
was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's saying, you know, I don't know. He's had some interview, and we've met and we've talked, and he's going to do the show apparently. Yeah. Well, we
that's
have.
awesome.
Yeah. No, he's amazing, but. It's like if you saw that movie, there are scenes in the snow, scenes that are so similar, And then he claimed in some interview that he never saw Robot Josh. This is 100% completely not true. I mean, I know he saw it because he talked to Stewart. Anyway, who the fuck knows? So
No, I think we should call that. No, I'm joking. I love him. Everybody here's a Guillermo del Toro fan, I'm sure, absolutely.
So yeah, Oblivion. What was the question? God, these questions are so good, and then we just get distracted.
The production of Castle Freak or anything.
Castle Freak or
Oh
Stuart
God.
Gordon.
Okay, there's a seriously insane story. Okay, Castle Freak. I could give you. I'll give you one that no one's going to like because it involves a cat. Okay, because everyone loves pets, and God forbid a pet gets killed in a movie. Humans, nothing. Kill the fucking humans. One little pet gets damaged.
You talked about this in the last panel, though, but it's true.
Did I?
Horror films. Well, you mentioned it. He was like, "Oh yeah, fuck up the humans." You didn't say it quite that way, but remember when Adam was there? It was like, I can't touch an animal in a movie. Remember?
Yeah, it's like
that's my threshold.
Well, that's the world we live in. But anyway, so there's a scene in Castle Freak where the Castle Freak's in his sort of lair, his cage, and he's chapped in it. A little cat goes in there. If you've seen the movie, I don't know.
Yeah.
And the cat kind of walks out, kind of comes out, and then gets pulled back in, obviously by its tail, by the Castle Freak, and obviously gets eaten. Now, we don't see any of this, but the shot of the cat being pulled in by its tail, people were really upset. They asked, did you really pull the cat in by the tail? Was it CGI? Was it special effects? And I was always very, honest. I didn't want to lie. I go, no, we pulled the fucking cat in by its tail. Just like the cat went, wah! We didn't hurt the cat. Oh, that's a quickie story. There's a million Castle Freak story because it was a really good movie and a very creepy movie.
Yes,
and
it was.
the effect was head to toe. I mean, what you saw on the screen, there were no added anything. And the actor who, I forget his name for a minute, he would sometimes, just to have some relief, walk outside the castle, which was surrounded by a little medieval town, and walk around that way with a cut-off dick and the whole thing, and freak the fuck people who could. It's a little Italian town surrounding or by this castle. Anyway.
Oh
No,
man.
I love it. We have actually had the writer of the remake on. Did you watch the remake?
The remake. Oh yeah, I licensed those rights. Yes.
know.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I was going to say about that. All right, one
Yes,
more
sir.
question. Yeah.
What's the movie that you always wanted to make but never got an opportunity to?
Oh, this is what you got this last panel.
I don't know if I think I have to forbid that question at every panel. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, there is one. I had back in the 80s where things were really going well and I was ambitious. We did our own theatrical distribution. We were doing pretty good with these movies. I had a movie called Decapitron, and this was when Terminator was super huge. And it was a great idea. Decapitron, the girls would look, they're so smiling. They thought, what did we stumble into here?
You're having a blast, aren't you? You're having a good time, aren't you? Yeah.
So Decapitron was the coolest idea ever. And I had a great artist who designed, what he was just imagine a Terminator type robot, and he had 5 heads. So he had a weapons head, he put it on, then he blew shit up. Then he had a morphing chameleon head that he could become different people. And it was just the coolest fucking script, but it was very ambitious. It wasn't, I usually make movies with, puppets and dolls and, it'd be affordable. But, this is like a Terminator guy with all these fucking heads. So I finally gave up because there was just no way. And fortunes were turning again, money was getting tight. So I took that character and I introduced him in a Puppet Master movie. So there is a puppet called Decapitron that puts different heads on in a Puppet Master movie. So, we went small,
So I promised him we'd only do 20 minutes. So I'm going to.
It's midnight.
I did give you bourbon and was very sweet.
No,
so I'm going to
true.
limit it to just 2 more questions.
Oh.
Yes, go ahead. We'll give one from the audience and then I'll let Chad in. I'm sorry, James, unless you have something really.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Chad will hurt me.
No. Go ahead, and then we'll move on to Chad. Go ahead.
Have you ever thought about just rebooting Puppet Master from scratch, and that way we can have some sort of continuity finally?
There's no continuity in Puppet Master.
I know, that's
So here's my secret plan. So I believe, and who knows, right or wrong, I think I'll be right. And there's a hint that something good is happening. There are 2 projects of mine, 2 movies of mine that are up for a big reboot. It's not me because I don't have no reboot money. Somebody comes in, I'm going to spend $100 million, make a big version of whatever. When you think of it, and I was involved closely with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby at Marvel before Marvel exploded into the Marvel we know. There was a period they were struggling for money, Marvel Comics. And we were close on a couple deals. and we were going to do sort of a reboot, full moon style of Doctor Strange. And that actually, it didn't work out. So Jack Kirby, again, sweetest man, most talented guy ever, he drew something. He said, well, look, you should make a similar story called Dr. Mordred. And he did a piece of art, and I made Dr. Mordred. Anyway, during that period, we were talking about all this stuff, and it didn't work out. So now Dissolve, Marvel came out of this. I mean, they made Iron Man, and suddenly Marvel became a billion-dollar company. But it became a company like that because of all these amazing characters they created, all the comics. They all existed before the big movies, right? I mean, every one of these big movies were based on successful comics. But a successful comic generally doesn't make any real money. There's not big money. And suddenly Marvel. So it's not a secret plan. My hope is that now that there's a couple deals going that are big deals, where they're option deals in Hollywood, option deals where they say, hey, we really like this movie you made 20 years ago, and we want to option the rights to make it into a big Hollywood tentpole or a series. And so we're going to give you a little money, and we'll have a 2-year period to then come back and give you a whole bunch of money. Then we'll make a big Puppet Master or a big Trancers. So one deal that hasn't been announced, but I don't care who, the police aren't here, so is we did a deal with, well, it's a big company, but we did a deal with Lee Winnell, sorry.
Yeah, Lee Winnell.
And so Lee Winnell has already written 3 of the 7 episodes for a Trancers reboot, which will be a big, probably
oh my
Netflix.
Gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so that would be amazing for Full Moon, because suddenly Full Moon, a little company that made hundreds of little weird movies, suddenly gets pulled into the mainstream. And we have a similar deal with Puppet Master. So what that means in the real world is who the fuck knows. Like, it may happen, it may not happen, but the Trancers thing looks really good. And all it takes is one. And then the Hollywood people are generally asleep at the wheel, go, oh, whoa, Full Moon. God, they have all this other shit. Maybe we should go make Doll Man, which would be a great reboot, you know. So I'm hoping that happens, and we may have all this. And then they'll wheel me into the movies, you know, like Stanley, and I'll be there. Hey, I'll make my little appearance.
Yeah. All right. Last question.
All right. So I said if Charlie Band was ever this close to me
Oh,
ever in my entire
stop
life.
it. You remind me of the microphone.
I know.
Thing.
I said,
Well, he hasn't spit on you yet. So
I said I would ask 2 questions. I said I would ask a question about Oblivion,
Yes.
and I said I would ask a question about Shrunken Heads.
Okay.
Because Shrunken Heads is an absolute favorite of mine. If you're not familiar with Shrunken Heads, it's literally kind of like a superhero movie of Full Moons. It's about 3 kids who are horribly murdered who... It's true. They're gunned down, and this voodoo doctor...
Microphone chat.
This voodoo doctor takes their heads off and brings them back to life to basically avenge their deaths. It's fantastic. It's direct.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the 2 chicks that walked in.
And
This is what they're going. Oh.
And it was directed by Richard Elfman, brother of Danny Elfman, who was they were in a band.
Who also did Danny Elfman, one of the 2 most successful composers in Hollywood.
All time, yeah.
8 million movies, including the
And they were in a band together called
John Williams, right?
Yeah.
John Williams.
Those are the 2.
Yeah. And they were in a band together called Oingo Boingo. Yeah. So I was just I had to ask about Shrunken Heads.
Okay, this is the final story.
Yeah.
This is the final
I'm
story,
sorry.
and then-
No, that's cool. So, all right. It's a good one. So I'm being distributed by Paramount. We were very successful direct-to-video now. We were the direct-to-video guys. Full Moon was coming out with a movie every month in the early 90s, and they wanted us to make kind of Full Moon light series. I go, what are you talking about? They said, we need something that for kids, kind of Full Moon, but kind of Harry Potter-esque. So I came up with a label called Moonbeam. And we made movies like Prehysteria and Dragon World and Remote, and that was very... So now we're making 2 movies a month in 35 millimeter. And a fellow came in, there's a lot of history here, named Brandon Tartikoff, who, famous Hollywood guy, kind of invented whatever it was.
Ran NBC for a
He
long
ran
time.
NBC, yeah.
He was the wonderkind. Anyway, so he comes in, he and I hit it off really good. Sadly, he was in for a month, and they let it, I'm sorry, a year, and they let him go. But during that year, he goes, Charlie, I love what you're doing. We got to make some big movies, Full Moon. We got to like make theatricals. We got to do that. I go, okay. He said, why don't you do this? Make a movie, spend a bunch of money, and I don't want to complicate your life. And if it's a good movie and we like it, and I can help you a little bit with this, we'll give you a whole bunch of money and we'll release it theatrically.
Yeah.
Remember, my movies were all direct-to-video. They were successful,
Right.
but no theatrical. I go, okay. And so I came up with this idea of Shrunken Heads, which is exactly as you described. These kids, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, They're cool little dudes, very endearing.
Yeah.
And they get involved in something and they get killed. And this hoodoo voodoo guy, who's an awesome actor, I forget his name.
Yeah, I'm blinking.
Literally chops their heads off, reanimates the heads. Now the heads are avenging, shrunken, pissed off heads.
Right.
They're flying. Okay. So he said, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Okay, good. So now we spend a lot of money for us, a lot of money. And it's the telltale, and then within that period of time, Brandon Tartikoff gets axed. He's gone.
Yeah.
So now our connection guy is gone. All right, so all the teams there, it's the big moment where we're screening Shrunken Heads for all the Paramount brass in their big screening room. And it's a good movie, but there's a problem with the movie. So we screen the movie, and the only way I can describe it, it's a cool film. You got to watch it.
Yes, you do.
I mean, it's really cool, but here's the problem. These kids, they're like 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They're super endearing. So imagine seeing like the kids in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Okay. And in 10 minutes, you go, these are the sweetest kids. They all get killed. Their heads get cut off. It's not just killed. I should have made them a little older, like teenagers, not fucking little cute children, right? Anyway, the head dude came. He said, Charlie, this is a terrific movie. He said, but we can't release this thing.
Yeah.
So good luck and fuck you. And but you should watch it because it actually is a really clever movie.
It is an amazing film, and you can't find it on Amazon and
You just get the-
and Tubi, or you can buy.
No,
it.
it's on. It should be on our channel on Amazon. You should have it on Amazon. Shrunken Heads.
Yes, it is. It is because
Shrunken, just go Shrunken Heads. You'll find it.
That's where I watch it. So I've watched it several times. It's literally one of my favorite full moon movies.
And with that, will you please do me a favor and make sure that this man, this iconoclast, this person of industry for almost 50 years, feels loved and welcome for giving us this last name. Charles Band, who we have dreamed about having on our show for so long.
Thank you.
We love you. Thank you so much.